Hello everyone, and it's great that you're looking back at the channel and at this video. And if you did see the last video, you'll know I was going to do a little bit of work to this excellent Class 20, the Hornby Dublo one. Now before we get started on it, I went and looked for the box, because when I finish with it on the layout I shall put it away. So if I can just show you the end there, it's model number 2230. The 1000 brake horsepower Bobo Class 20 loco, and we've got a problem with the traction tyres. Now the noise in the background, I've just got the really nice B12 from last week, the RS29 set, running around the main lines to keep me company, and we'll probably look at it again later running round if I can get this fixed. Now I've got a few tools on the bench and I've already taken out the securing screw so I can lift the body off. Let's just get that off. Nice big screw to hold the body on. And I've also taken the side frames off. They're just held on with a couple of small screws each side, and that should expose the problem. So let me see if I can turn it over and show you. Those traction tyres look pretty grotty, don't they? So let's just see. They've almost turned to a paste. I don't know whether I'm going to be able to peel them off even. Nasty, really. Let's have a look. So I don't know whether oil's got on them, could be, or something, but they've really deteriorated. So I think what I'll do is just get them off as best I can using sharp implements. Now I don't want to damage the nickel plating on the wheel. Looking at this, oh, how gross, aren't they? I'm wondering if these were it looks like these might have been the rubber band type. So there are some available now that look almost like elastic bands, and yeah, these have got that clear look about them, so something's got onto those that causes them to deteriorate. But already we're getting cleaned up. Now I've got a little multi-tool here. I just can't get that off my stick it to the screwdriver. I just can't get that off my fingers. So I've just got my eye protection on and a little multi-tool, because I'm just going to see whether I can clean the wheel up bit by bit. That's working nicely. It's just can you see the groove is really, let me switch that off, the groove is really cleaning up nicely. So I shall go round the wheel, and how I shall just rotate the armature shaft a little bit to turn the wheel. I could undo the grub screws, but I think there might be two even, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to do it bit by bit until I get those wheels all cleaned up. So I'm going to do this off camera, and we'll come back when I've got both those wheel grooves totally clean. And I got some excellent tips about tyres to use, but I've got loads in stock, different sizes. So I will be trying out, I think Marklin ones were mentioned, but until I've used up the stock of what I've got, I'm going to not buy any more, because I guess they're probably, if you store them safely, they're probably okay, but these things do deteriorate. Anyway, let me get these wheels cleaned up and we'll come back when they're all shiny and nice. Okay then, well, I hope you can see now that the wheels are gleaming. So a little bit of work with the multi-tool, followed up by just a wet wipe. So I wasn't going to use any chemical on there, such as petrol or, you know, alcohol, because I just wanted to give them a really gentle clean afterwards. So I used this wet wipe and they've come up beautifully. Now there are a couple of pits. Now I've had this on Hornby Dublo wheels before where the actual plating, even though it's good, the wheels aren't brilliant, but I mean they're going to be fine. So what I'm going to do now is, if I can just get onto I'm going to put it on the test track, and we haven't got any traction tyres on at all, but I thought I'd just run it round. So I'm getting onto my little controller and a little bit of power. Now the camera is on a stand, so I'm just going to run it round and then back again, and then back again, to confirm that it really is going nicely. So it is time to have a go at putting some tyres on this. So I'm just going to look in my little box and see what I've got. And I am wondering if I've actually got any that are going to be suitable. These look like the right thickness, so I'm just going to get these out. So I've got a pair of sort of tweezery things here, and I'm going to attempt to ease on some traction tyres that are the right width. So these are good quality items, and I've got it stuck in the centre of the wheel there like a bit of a fool. So let me just grab that. Okay. I am going to try and do this while I talk to you, but it might not work out. In fact, I don't want to damage them because I seem to have only got two, but I'm just easing it in. And then once it's on, I'm just going to go round and round, and hopefully it will be seated with no twists. So that's one on, but I want to check that I haven't got any undue oscillation. So before I put the other one on, I'm just going to back it up and down again. And that's lovely and smooth. Now it is actually oscillating a bit, but yeah. Okay, well I'm going to check that out off camera in case I've got a twist in it, and get the other one on, and then we'll put the side frames on and the body shell on and try it out. Right, well I've had a good fiddle about and I've just gone handheld now, so we can take a look. But I think the tyres have gone really nicely into the grooves. They're perfect fit. It's a bit of a bugbear of mine about out of round traction tyres, but there you go. But anyway, look, I've just got it on the track, so let's see if we can just do a bit of testing before I finally put it back together. So I'm just going to, it is running a bit smoother now. So on the back of the test track, I've got a couple of wagons. So here we go. Such a quiet run of this Hornby Dublo model, but I have to say I'm pretty pleased with that. So I need to know it's right before I put the side frames on, because if you look here you can see there's some little sort of machine screws. It's quite fiddly, so you can't change the tyres without taking those off. But I'm happy with the way the wheels are cleaned up, the new tyres are on, and it's running really well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let's just back it up a bit, just test it in reverse. Yeah, I think I'm pretty happy with that. So I'm going to park it on the back of the layout. So off camera, I'm just going to put the side frames on and the body shell. And then And then we've got this Wrenn version I showed you the other day. So this is new to me. It's a bit of an unknown quantity. So you can see it's got traction tyres on one side rather than an axle, but I think we'll just take the top off this, and while I'm at the test track, see if there's any life in it. So join me in a minute and we'll get that Wrenn onto the test track and see whether it's got life in the motor. Okay, well, I haven't been gone as long as I thought, because I've decided to just put the side frames on and leave the chassis bare for a minute without the body shell, because we'll have a comparison with the Wrenn item. But I haven't had this on the track since I got it, but let's just shove it on and see whether anything will happen. So let's turn the controller. Well, look at that, it is indeed a runner. It's a little bit noisier than the Hornby Dublo item, and a little bit jerky, but I would imagine the pickups are a bit dirty, or the brushes. But let's just have a quick look. It's like I've said in a few of my videos, sometimes less is more, so I'm not going to do too much to it initially. We'll just perhaps clean the wheels a bit. So let's see what the differences are. So the body shell is virtually identical, and the securing screw on the Wrenn one is black. On the Hornby Dublo one, it's a silvered screw. But there's loads of differences once we get it down to the chassis. So let me just pick this up. Now, one of the main differences is clip-on plastic side frames, different pickups altogether. In fact, I think it picks up one side on the front bogie and one side on the rear. So the whole bogie, the insulated wheels are obviously on different sides. So we've got pickups on these two wheels on the rear bogie and on these two wheels on the front bogie, and we've just got a wire coming from the bogie frame. But I think the motor looks, now we have got a broken side frame here, so that's why that's askew, but I think the motor looks the same in both units. But of course, because we've got that picking up from the frames, we've now got a plastic spar across the top. So really it's a much more simplified design, because the pickup on the Hornby 002 rail is a much more complicated device with springs pushing onto the wheels. Indeed, I think Hornby Dublo had a lot of trouble with pickups, 2 and 3 rail versions of this loco. Okay, well, I'm just going to pop this back on the test track. I'll just remove this side frame that's slightly damaged, pop that there, and let's just try it once again. Yeah, I think it's just lack of use. Okay, well, we'll run both of these then today. I'll probably put just a spot of oil on each end of the armature shaft. Probably I might leave the axles alone today, let them bed in, and give the wheels a clean. I can see actually a problem, and this is the sort of problem I get on a lot of Wrenn locos and other locos, is that the oil has gone very hard between the axle and the bogie, and that can sometimes cause a resistance to running too, because if you get a sort of black grease, and let me tell you, there's a sort of horrible black grease in there, it sets up a resistance between the axle and the frame, so you're just losing conductivity. Now the only way to clean them really is to take the wheels out, clean everything up, but just for a bit of fun today we'll do a little bit of running. So I might put the lightest amount of oil on the axles on this one and hope that it just cleans up some of that black grease. Now it doesn't always, and I do anticipate that at some point I'm going to strip it down, but it's a new loco to me and I'd like a bit of fun with it. So I'm going to put both of these together and come back and have some fun with them on the main layout. Okay, well, I'm on the main layout now and the Wrenn item's just been put on and it's running abysmally. Look at this. It's just hesitating and juddering, so I would imagine that's exactly why it was quite a bargain at the Train Collector Society fair. It really is not running very well. Now you can see that side frame's missing from the rear because I need to mend it, but I think we've got ourselves a full strip down and repair video for the new year with this loco. It really does sound quite sad. I don't know whether you can pick it up on the camera, but it's, yeah, that's not going to do anything. So I think we need to just see whether we can slow it down a little bit. Okay, well, I wonder if I can just get it off the layout there and reverse it into the inner of the double track loop. Let's just see whether it will. Right, well, that's where it's going to stay. So I'm just going to put points D back to curve for mainline running. So I was hoping to pull a bit of a freight train with that, so we'll need to use the Hornby Dublo item. Now that's sitting there between these two stations, so I better get that on the downward main line. So let's get it from the branch line onto the main line. So I think if I set points E to straight, let's just have a look. I might be able to reverse that out. So let's just see whether the Hornby Dublo item's going to play ball. Oh, that seems quite happy. Just a bit more. Okay. Points E now to curve. And let's just see how this goes round. So I put a little bit of power in. And that's running much better with its new tyres on. We haven't got any hesitations there. So look, that's just going to head off around the layout. And in a minute, I'm going to open up this set of points here. And we'll back it onto this long freight train made up mostly of Wrenn wagons, but with a few Triang ones at the back. So let's get back to the controls and watch the Class 20 come round. So let's get it down to that end of the layout. Now I've got a converter wagon on this rake of wagons, so all being well, I'll be able to hook straight on. So points B, right down there, now set to straight, and I'm just going to reverse up. Ooh, those couplings all sounded very nice, didn't they? Right, let's see if I can draw out now. And indeed, we've got the freight train nicely coupled up to the Class 20. So I'll get points B back to curve for mainline running, and we'll watch this lot come round, and they're making a great noise. I didn't really expect that Wrenn to run straight out of the box. I think if it had been out of storage from the collection, I might have expected it to go, but it's obviously been somewhere causing a bit of trouble for somebody and it's been moved on. Okay, well, the Hornby Dublo traction tyres are now doing their job, and let's take a final look at this B12 for a little while. I think I'm going to run it just some more, so I'll put some power on. I do like a bit of Hornby Dublo 2-rail action. Even though Hornby Dublo made their excellent, slightly finer scale 2-rail track, all the Hornby Dublo items love running on the Triang Super 4. Well, I think the Class 20 will be in a video fairly soon, but it's a bit of a special week next week, being Christmas week. So I've got a video lined up for you, and I just had a thought it'd be nice to see something we haven't seen yet from the collection in a sort of Christmas environment. So I won't say any more than that, but I'm looking forward to it. And I'm going to shove it underneath the Christmas tree and imagine I'm back right at the end of the 1950s, start of the 1960s, and I'm just going to get the sort of feeling that it's Christmas back in those days, and we'll look at the item together and enjoy it almost as if it's for the first time. So I hope you can find time to join me for that sometime in Christmas week. But until then, I'm going to leave you with the Hornby Dublo Class 20, the 1000 horsepower Bobo that's now running beautifully with its new pair of traction tyres fitted. And also a sort of final look at the RS29 set from the last couple of weeks, because I think it will be going away over the Christmas period. Well, I'm going to have a bit more fun with these, so until the next video, for now, I'll say goodbye.